look for Radio Caribbean International, and you can get a little up close and personal with us over there. Like I mentioned, our guest today is a young man who's quite accomplished. He's got quite a lot going on. I need to know how he's managing, how he is, weighing all of these things off. But you know what? Some of us were just created for certain things, and it's absolutely clear that this gentleman's path is going to be. His name is Rahym Augustin-Joseph. Rahym R.Augustin-Joseph. Good afternoon, young man. How are you?
Good afternoon. Everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, I'm hearing you
Yes.
loud and proud and
Rhyme,
proud
rhyme
and
works.
loud.
Rhyme works. You
Rhyme
don't have
works.
to get
No. For
elongated.
protocols, I had to get it all out, because you know what I'm saying. When in the future, it seems like we're gonna have to be using protocols a lot with your name in it. So I'm just practicing.
You're practicing. Okay.
Good
That
afternoon,
works
young
too.
man. How are
Good
you?
afternoon. I'm fine. Thank you for having
Very
me.
well. Very
I
well.
think I've joined a very small caucus of young people that have been part of this show. So I'm delighted to be part of the RCI family, at least in that way.
Well, we are honored. We are honored to have you. When I'm looking at this bio, I looking at this like a write up there. I don't even because it's not a bio yet because you don't even start the thing yet. You're just like touching the iceberg of it, and that thing done so so long and, and so crammed up with greatness that you know what, man. I am impressed. I'm totally impressed.
Thank
Tell
you.
us about yourself, Ra. I mean, I don't want to go into it. I'm watching it there, but I
Mhm.
want you to tell me what you would like me and my listeners and viewers to take away with when we say who is Rahym.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess at the most base level, that's probably one of the most difficult questions. But at the most base level, I'm a young man from the community of Bexor who grew up there for practically all my life, and I've attended the Otsa Combined School and thereafter attended the St. Mary's College. And even then, during that early period, there was a view in my mind that, secondary school, I'll just go into the exam and do whatever. And it really didn't matter because I don't know that I saw the first towards education as I do now. But then I got to St. Mary's College and then the atmosphere and the environment changed. Mr.
Right.
Sion, as the principal, invoked a certain sense of, I don't know if you want to call it patriotism, love, whatever it is that you call it. And
Right.
just that general competition environment that the boys had made me realize that, all right, I possibly, one, belong here, but two, that I could
Right.
possibly make something. So
Out
I,
of
I
it.
started to play
Nice.
cricket, I guess, after school as much as I can. You know what typical young boys in Form
Mhm.
1, 2, and 3
Mhm.
fool around do. And then over time, I started to love history and social studies and these sort of subjects. But I think the peak really happened at the community college when I
Ah.
finally realized that I wanted to do law. And I did law at Cape, and then thereafter I went to the University of the West Indies to be able to pursue a bachelor's of political science and law because at the current time the government of St. Lucia did not extend economic course for law alone. In their mind, it was, I guess, maybe not an economically wise decision to do. So they were extending economic costs for political science and law. So I said, well, I might as well. I recognize that I just wanted to go to school. I felt that I would have been here for too long. I heard the voices in my head saying that if you get a job, you might never want to leave. So there was a first to leave to go to school to expand knowledge. And therefore, I did political science and law, and then I completed that degree because I got a scholarship from the University of the West Indies. And then I'm also on another scholarship now to complete the law degree, which really is the aspiration to be an attorney
But
at
you
law.
completed this. You say you're rolling over it, but you did complete with first class honors.
Yes, yes.
All right, okay. Let we talk about that.
Yeah.
Namely the George Bell Plaque of Excellence.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
So,
What
so
what what
it's,
is it? No, you're schooling me and you're schooling maybe some other persons outside.
mhm.
What is the George Bell Plaque of Excellence?
So the George Bell Plaque of Excellence is the Faculty of Social Sciences Award for the most outstanding political science student in the entire department. Interesting enough, as I
Wow.
said, remember I wanted to do law, so
Uh
political
huh.
science was not within the direct trajectory. But from the time I got in, I found myself in a very interesting love relationship with it. That at times I really wondered, do I really want to do law? So that's the
Right.
award. And there's also a new award that was introduced that I was able to get, which is the Justin Robertson Prize for outstanding contribution to the campus, to the country being St. Lucia, and to the
Wow.
region. So for the most part, these academic awards came as a result of and I guess your viewers know it better than I do, really hard work. So the late nights, the studying of the material, the understanding of the material. But it came a lot easier to me because I just love politics and I love governance. I love the idea of development. I love the idea of the Caribbean civilization. So all of these things constantly caused me to be able to be informed and to get the grades that I got and to be able to get that award.
There's a level of curiosity in these areas.
Yeah,
All
generally.
right. Wonderful. Now, I want to dial back down a little bit. I like to dial back down a little bit. I like to get grounded, right? I like roots that strong. So you say, you went to school like a normal, ordinary, regular young fella in school, giving trouble
Yeah.
like everybody else,
Yep.
had friends, interacting. You were not a nerdy.
Nah. As a
No,
matter of
you were
fact,
like a normal
yeah,
guy.
just a normal, yeah, just normal. Normal so much so. I think the only bad habit, which upon reflection, really is not a bad habit. I just remember the report books always saying he needs to be more focused. He speaks so much in class. So you get the general. Once you start to see that trajectory, you could sort of piece the approach later on and recognize that people like that end up where I am today.
Yes, indeed. Now, had you not have, or maybe you did have teachers who were a little bit, if they were to, sort of quell you down or don't understand it a bit towards that level, they would have probably killed that fire.
Yeah,
So I would say God bless you for having people who had a tolerance for your big mouth
for sure.
That is great. Okay, fast forward to where we at now. You were no, we ain't fast forwarding there yet. We
Okay.
want to talk about you later on. You spent some time in the youth council, in it.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your role there?
So briefly, I spent some time directing the program. So I was really responsible for the youth parliament. I was responsible for the general programming of the National Youth Council during
Wow.
some years ago. And really the idea was just to sort of cement some of the programming on a much broad scale, because I felt as if at times the programming was just isolated. And I don't think that it was as extensive as was required. So I set about to participate in that way. And that was the gap between university and after SAR Fellows Community College. I felt that I needed to contribute to young people in St. Lucia in a different way. And that was the avenue that opened up itself through the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports under their youth core program, where I got an employment gig there, to call it that, just before I was able to go to the University of the West Indies. But for me, the joy of that was really regulating to the youth parliament, because for me it was supposed to be more sittings, and for me it was supposed to focus on actually listening to young people and taking the recommendations that they have from the sitting, not necessarily just having them there to be able to tick a box and say that you have the youth parliament. But I saw it as a transformative program, because we got them into the communities. We got them under robust training sessions that they would not have gotten before. We had them with an idea to shadow ministers later on in the future, so that we get the understanding.
You championed all of that approaches?
Yes.
Wow.
So that was
Look,
within the
listen,
general.
child. Listen, young man. Listen. You listen. I was, because I was about to, my next line of question would have been, what do you think is giving you that edge, that advantage in terms of your approach to things of that sort? Because you have that vibrancy. You have this little, let's defy the status quo kind of vibe going on there. So do you think that gives you the edge?
Yeah, I think in a very way it does. I think
What
more
do you think
more
it derives from, though? Where do you think it derives from? That wanting to not go the normal monotonous way of not, and we just keep doing it without any new results. But what do you think that came from
I think
you, on you?
it's just that the sense that I've seen things sort of go in a very piecemeal way over time, and people have complained about it over and over and over again. But I've sat in with, I guess, more so the education that I've received. So the teachers that I have, or have had rather, have always been those that have just provide more questions at times than they provide answers. And therefore, a lot of these things pique my own inner philosophy of, all right, this has to change. And already from secondary school, so whether it be Richard Atkinson James in history, all the way to Professor Barra Giles in UE, or Dr. Joseph, or whether it be Mr. Sion, or whether it be Miss Trezell at South Louis Community College. There are so many social prevailing issues within our country that just need solving. And therefore it comes from that. But on a more personal level, like it comes from walking around the community at times and seeing individuals that I've gone to school with all my life who I know for more times than not are smarter than me. Let's get that straight. But just don't have the means and the opportunity. And therefore, I've recognized that I need to sort of dedicate my life in a very real way to attempting as best as I can to create some of these opportunities for people that, as I said, are much, much, much brighter than me. But they just don't have, whether it be the fiscal or the social or economic, or they just don't have the drive that I have, or they don't have, as I said, the opportunities or the family structure, the community engagement that is required to push them to the next level. So these are some of the things that really ground me, because I know that these individuals have the potential, but they need people to be able to really massage the system, but at the same time speak out against the system to be able to get them where they need to go.
Wow. And there you are now, making sure that you put
Yeah.
the groundwork together to be able to effect that. Now you're in Caville? Where are you? Are
Yes,
you
yes,
you're in Caville?
I'm still there.
Right. Are you doing how long do you have left?
So
You're pursuing the law now, the law
yes, so
degree
the
now, isn't it?
total program is 2 years, because you have sort of have to do all of the courses that you didn't do prior. So it's really 2 years. So I'm really engaging myself as part of that process because I understand what the end goal is.
Right.
But yes.
You're there. You've been there one, or you've been there two. Or how long do you have?
So this is the first now. So then next year we'll sort of
Okay. Next
start
year will be
the
second.
second. So by
Right.
2025. And then once I go after law school, I guess I'll be on the road or by RCI dropping out my business cards if anyone needs a free legal
Joke
assistance.
you're making. We're gonna be looking for you. Yeah. We certainly go. You listen, man. Let me segue a bit there now. We
Mm,
talking to you now on a personal level. We
mhm.
don't we listen. We don't need to hear anything on that side again. You're ready. We just ready for when you're ready for it. We have they have room for you. They certainly have room for you right there. The only thing I'm fearful of now is that Barbados might try and keep you. And man, if you yeah, you see them kind of thing you're putting out there. You were
Mm,
also valedictorian at St. Louis in your year of
yes,
graduation as
yes.
well. So you were just on this road. You just got that leadership kind of thing going on there, and it's evident. I mean, nobody can deny that just by the conversation we just had with you there.
Mhm.
It is very evident of how much of a leadership qualities that you possess, and as to the nature of that kind of leadership that you're purporting, it's really, really refreshing. My thing is just I just hope that somewhere along the line nobody, but you don't seem like that. You look like a person like me. You have your own mindset. You have your own thing.
Yes,
You don't
yes.
look like people can intimidate you or come and
Nah,
put you
not
to
at
die.
all.
You look like when listen, I've thought this through. This is how I feel about this. This is it.
Quite
That
correct.
kind of thing. So I'm even more excited now because we normally have promising persons like yourself, and then later on down the line, what people get to influence how they, it
Yeah,
just has no meaning after a while because everybody else now start to import their own,
import ideas. Yeah.
yes, and I care about that with that. We need freshness like yours. We need vigor like yours. We need innovative persons like yourself to start taking over things. Now, that being said, we're 23 after the hour. That being
Mhm.
said now, we have a lot of things to talk about. that being said now, what is your future? What do you hope to do? Apart from dropping business card, I don't think that gonna be your thing. But what is your dreams like future wise? Everybody probably, including myself, listening to you right now, is probably thinking this boy is going into politics. That's how it comes across that way. But is that your plan? Is that what you hope to do?
I've heard it many times actually, but again, as you said, it's part of the same symptom of individuals determining that is what is required. I think for me right now, I'm merely focused on becoming an attorney at law. I think that's really for me what the dream is. But of course, as I guess politicians say, if there comes a time when people decide that this is the time for me to be part of that particular circle, then I guess that will make a judgment call for. So in the most cliche way, I would say really
Uh-huh.
the people must be the ones to determine.
Well, we determined already, so I think you.
Then I guess the answer is yes.
I certainly believe that's where you would make the most of. I mean, okay, so let's see. Let's go with your route now. Let's go with your route. Become an attorney at law. What do you hope to impart? What do you,
Yeah.
as a lawyer? What would you like your legacy to be?
So
As
so
a
really,
strictly lawyer.
strictly, yeah. So I mean, I'm still dabbling, as I said, as to some of the areas of law that I'm most interested in. But I think more on the civil side of law. But at the same time, I don't want it to be just sort of get up at one day, every day, practice, go to court, etc. But I want to, in a very interesting way, still contribute to public scholarship. I still
Well,
want to
that's what
be
I'm
part
saying.
of the governmental fray of imparting policy and contributing. And as a matter of fact, I try to do that in my very own way. I have a column in the Barbados Today, where I share some thoughts. I also do it via the Star as well. So for me, there must be that full circle arrangement that I will continue to do. That it need not just be private practice, but that there is a much
Right.
wider environment that we coexist in that I want to contribute to it effectively. And I
Yeah.
think that public scholarship, in addition to policy, in addition to working out, whether it be in the community or at a national level, all of these things are part and parcel of the
Of the
contribution that I want to be able to make. And as I said earlier, it really is still that little child in the community or this little boy in the community that I know has the potential. That's where my energies will lie.
right now. We're still back on the politics because whichever way it goes, it looks like that's where you're going to end up.
Yeah,
You know,
it
we need
seems so.
it. It
Full
seems like
circle.
that's where you have to do it. So, the original host who should have been here is not feeling too well.
Yeah.
Khalid is asking, what is your vision for political arena in Saint Lucia?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Is
you're
how
thinking it.
Khalid has to know how long do we have to answer that question?
I know.
Um
You have
very
4 minutes.
very simply, um, it's just a solution that is fair, that is equitable, that respects the dignity of human beings in a very real way. But more so one that could find more common consensus on issues. I think for too long we've been either too far left or too far right, and not finding the time and the space to be able to meet each other halfway, or even to just bend a little or move a little. But that's really the broad vision, but more particularly that we really create the systems to provide opportunities for young people or for people generally. I look around the world and St. Lucia have enough bright people everywhere. There is no doubt about it. And therefore, there needs to be that incubator or that system that harnesses all of that potential and allows them to critically contribute to the development of the country. So very simply, that is the broad outline, the broad vision: a country that is equitable, a country that is fair, a country that respects its people, a country that advances the notion of its people, but a country also steeped in patrimony and love for its own people. That at the end of the day, we know that nobody's better than us, but equally that we are better than nobody. So that is the general idea. And of course, Kelly and I could always talk specifics at a later time, but that's the general idea.
Absolutely. Now, like, listen, we need more time here with you for real, for real. We need like a whole, yeah, an entire show with you. In terms of where we at. Let's talk about where we at. This is the future. This is what you would like to see. This is what you would like to, effect change in some areas if you so given the opportunity. Where are we right now? What is your take on our political arena and the stance where we are right now?
Yeah,
Economically,
I
everything.
mean, is the same as I mentioned a while ago, the idea of too far either. But let's say,
Yeah.
for example, let's take education. I don't know that I would be lying if I say that I am particularly unhappy with the state of advances made towards education. So whether it be the increased thrust towards providing scholarships, whether it be the increased thrust towards expanding access for students within our country, I am pleased with some of these developments. Of course, I think there's always room for improvement. I always think that there needs to be way more avenues in place to be able to advance the interests of young people. So that's at least, as I said, on the education front. But even then, I think, as I said, there's a lot of work to be done. I think at times we sort of satisfied with going very slowly because that we have at the back of our mind that nothing ever happens quickly and that we need to go for the piecemeal approach. So I think that there is a lot of work for us to do. But at the same time, it requires a lot of the consensus that I was talking about. I don't think is part and parcel of our politics. And I'm not saying that partisan politics doesn't have its place. I'm not saying that individuals can't have their own innate philosophical views, because that's obviously what's going to drive policy and drive development. But at times, I don't know that individuals are holding steadfast because they truly believe in these things, as opposed to holding steadfast because at times it seems mischievous. So it's good to hold steadfast to some of these truths, but it's not to be a slave to some of them that it really thwarts the development of our country.
Right. Finally, I'm going to ask, if you, or when you are to get into politics, not if, when do you get into politics? What is your take on the, well, the two dominant parties sort of approach to things? I mean, that people have tried. People are always saying, well, okay, let's try a new party. Let's bring in some fresh ideas. Let's give somebody else, because we keep recycling the same two sort of mindsets.
Yeah,
Do you believe there's room for a third approach, a different set of group of people, or do you see yourself, joining what exists?
The truth is, Mareen, the literature tells us, and I'm going back to the scholarly work now, that the system doesn't create opportunities for third parties. More times than not, it sticks to the two approach, the two parties. But obviously, that doesn't mean that literature at times can't be wrong, in the sense that a third party can emerge when individuals are really tired of their options and they have a viable, whether it be a breakaway of one, etc. But as it currently stands, I whatever it is, whichever party that I determine that I want to be part of, I am going to be part of it with a group of like-minded individuals that could turn it in the direction of transformative change that it requires. Because the truth is, the parties have a certain history and political backing that a new party may not particularly have. But at the same time, and the institutional knowledge and the institutional know-how that it has the potential to be able to improve. So I'm not of the view that all of these things need to be broken apart entirely to create a new, just for the purposes of creating a new political philosophy, because I think that it can still be channeled through these institutions. But whether it is that the history determines that the time is ripe for a third option, and the data and all these other things support it, then I don't doubt that route is also available. But I'm also worried about third parties within our system who really just spring up on the last day when the bell is rung. There needs to be an ongoing conversation within the 5 years, if it is that you are to be taken serious as a political party. A political party doesn't exist only for the purposes of election. So I think these are some of the problems the parties have faced, in addition to the lack of financing, etc., etc. But I make bold to say that some of these third parties are not serious. They may sound very serious as part of programmatic and policy areas and philosophy, but there's a groundwork that needs to happen over a 5-year period that I'm not sure that they're doing.
Oh man, let me tell you something. We could talk for an entire day. Khalid, thank you for staying home today. I needed this young man's energy today. Right? You are amazing, and we wish you the very best. And we can't wait for you to come back on home and certainly we look forward to that, man. That's refreshing. You need to be back home soon.
All right. Thank you so much. And have a good day, Mareen.
You as well, darling. Wow. I am so impressed with this young man right there. Bye now.
Bye.
Khalid, thank you for staying home. I like this youth. Wow. Rahym. Oh, my God. That's your Youth Unplugged for today. Of course, next Thursday, 3 o'clock, it happens all over again. Compliments the Bank of St. Lucia.
Get more financial freedom with a Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card. With a Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card, you're not just spending, you're winning. Every time you use your credit card, you automatically enter to win $1,000 daily. That's right, 1,000 reasons to celebrate every day. Shop, dine, travel with a Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card. And the best part, you're not just a customer, you're a potential winner. Don't miss out on your chance to win $1,000 daily until Christmas. Apply for your Bank of St. Lucia Visa credit card today. Terms and conditions apply. Visit our website at bankofstlucia.com/tistheseason or contact us via WhatsApp at 729-2675 or 720-2675 for more information. 'Tis the season of winning. Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need.
Christmas countdown is on, but this time with a twist. Join us for Merry Mania.